where do you start with all of this then? It's simple. Just start with where you're at. Think about it. If you run a holiday club for 60 to 70 kids and then you invite them to Sunday school, only 1 or 2 of them turn up. So what do you do then? Well, you stick with it, because obviously a Friday night suits them, and that's what Pam and Debs did.
Fridays in Faith, the story so far, is more than we hoped it would be. It's hard to believe how far we have come. We only set out to do 3. Our holiday clubs have been running for years, the kids and their parents had fun. Yet numbers in church were still going down. We wondered what else could be done. Coffee and chats were soon in full flow, trying to think of a brilliant idea. Who would have guessed we would all think the same? We should meet every month through the year. So, we planned our first night to perfection, but were nervous of how it would go. We eagerly watched in the doorway, hoping that someone would show. Then excitedly, dozens of families were appearing, all casually dressed. 140 in total. They'd arrived and we all had been blessed. That was the start, our beginning. And now we're just part of the scene. From babies in buggies to grandmas and all sorts of folks in between. All of us coming together with reflection and Bibles and prayer. Together, united in worship, knowing God's presence is there.
Fridays in Faith began because the 5 churches in Annan had been working together to do a holiday Bible club every summer. But what we noticed after 10 years was that we weren't getting any children or any families feeding into the churches. But we had masses of enthusiasm from the parents during the week, and they loved it, and the kids loved it. So we prayed and we talked and we had coffee, and everyone came up with the same suggestion, that we would actually go back to the academy, to the secondary school, and run something for the whole family, not just for the kids, once a month. And we went to the parents and the children on the last day of the holiday club and said to them, would you come on a journey with us? And we don't know where it's going to go, but we recognise that there is something that we can do together, and that's where we started.
Susan's my next door neighbour. She came initially because the kids went to holiday club together, and then we said to Susan, did she want to come along because her daughter had so much fun, and she kind of
to church.
But she really likes coming here, so it's good.
Well, it's good fun. It's like a nice family night out, and it never fails to surprise me. They always do something different every time, don't they?
Just recently, my mum died. But it was like the following week I came to Friday in Faith. Obviously it was upsetting and that, but it was near Christmas time. And Emily had sung on the street in the cold, and then Friday in Faith was open early for a cup of tea and a chat, and the minister was there that actually did my mum's service. But I felt, well, as you see, close to God, but I felt comfortable coming in with the surroundings and everything like that, and the people.
I think it's really the most exciting thing to happen in the church in Annan, probably for years and years.
I mean, this is really, it's a wonderful thing to be involved with. I mean, I have no difficulty at all giving up a Friday night to come and do Fridays in Faith, because it's great. It really is super. We do enjoy it.
So you might like to know what Fridays in Faith looks like. People arrive about 7 o'clock to the academy. We set it out with big tables with maybe about 10 chairs around each table, and a host, somebody from one of the different churches, sitting there to welcome people, and families just pile in, find a table, sit down together. We start with a couple of songs and we tell them the theme for the night, and then we go into activities, and they might be drawing a picture, they might be in a quiet tent reflecting, they might be going through a labyrinth with their family, or they might be trying to build the biggest tower you can with 3 dozen toilet rolls. It's really very flexible. We then gather together and have supper, And we used to rush this bit, but this bit's actually got longer and longer because people can sit down and talk together, and it's proved to be just a really special time. We finish off with a Bible story that's either done with drama or sometimes just simply read, and we ask people to listen. And then we gather for worship in the middle with a couple of songs and a prayer. And we've said to people, you don't have to pray, but you might just want to read it. But what we've actually found is that people join in, and then we finish, we say good night, and they all go home. And that takes about an hour and a half, and it's as crazy and as casual as that.
I like the singing and the games. Well, there's some games and I like playing the games. Well, I like to come here because when we're in the academy, I quite like when we swap all around and try to do different activities. You can spend time with your family and friends.
The food's always good, so.
I'm blind and there's still plenty for me to do. And my favourite thing is either the quizzes or the going about stuff.
You learn about God and Jesus in fun ways.
We love Fridays in Faith! We love Fridays in Faith! We love Fridays in Faith! We love Fridays in Faith!
We love Fridays in Faith!
We love Fridays in Faith!
We love Fridays in Faith!
One thing that I'd like to say is that it was never our intention to use Fridays in Faith as a stepping stone to drag people back into church. We wanted them to have a place, a safe place, where they could begin to make their own faith journey without thinking it had to go back to one of our churches in Annan. And it's raised more questions for us than we could have imagined, because things happen at Friday night in an academy hall in a secondary school that we would call church. There are sacred moments. There are moments where we see somebody's making a connection with God, perhaps opening the Bible for the first time, or writing a grace or a prayer, or even having their hands washed in a very simple service. And we see that that is church, that is God meeting with them and their faith growing. And it excites us and it thrills us, but at the same time we say we're not seeing it as one day when they've grown up a little bit more, they'll join the real church. That this is actually perhaps becoming real church for them. Even if it doesn't go any further than what they do once a month, this is their place where they meet with God.